Well, I ended up coming back to the winery via a very circuitous and at the time, unpredicted route. We were on our way to Europe as a family on the Queen Mary 2, the new ship that does the Grand Traversée. And before we sailed, my dad said, hey son, I'd like to talk to you. Why don't you come down to my cabin? So down I went. And my dad was laying on the bed, puffing his cigar as he always does, and says, you know, son, I spent 4 days here in New York and I didn't see a bottle of Jordan wine on any wine list, including many accounts that had always been supporters of ours. I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Dad. Well, at the time, I was practicing law. I had a thriving small law firm, and I was having a great time doing that. And while I'd always loved the winery in a distant sort of way, it just wasn't something I saw in my near professional future. And at the time, my dad's his next words were, well, son, I think that if you want to have the winery one day and you want to have it be functioning, I think you need to come back and run the winery. Well, that was about the last thing in the world that I was expecting to hear, or the last thing in the world I expected to do. I was very happy and everything was going well, and I was in a profession that at the time I enjoyed. But over the next 5 days, as the boat crossed the Atlantic, I thought about it, and then when my dad brought it up again, I said to him, I decided to take him up on that challenge with a couple of provisos, that it would be my show, my way, no interference, no questions, and that I was going to, in fact, be the last word as to how the winery operated. And much to my surprise, he agreed very quickly. And when he said, stuck his hand out and said, done, you know, everything in me that was a lawyer or negotiator thought, well, gee, that was too easy. There's another catch. And there was. I never ever thought that I would enjoy or so immerse myself into a lifestyle and a business to the point where it was all consuming. I mean, my first waking thought each morning is of the winery and the people that work here and how we can do a better job at all of the hundreds of things we do here throughout the year. And those are my last thoughts before I go to sleep at night. In 2006, I ended up building a home here, and that obviously made my commute a lot easier, but further made sure that the winery would never be far from me, either emotionally or physically.